Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. Massimiliano Allegri on one side, Dusan Vlahovic on the other side. Two names that we will talk about in today's video. Who will stay, who will leave and why. We'll speak about all these kind of things in today's video. Ragazzi, I'm anticipating the question, the kindly request to put a maximum of like on today's video. I'm sure we can hit old records, hitting maybe 700 likes. We can do it all together. And if you didn't yet, please continue to subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Ragazzi, we open. If we go back to yesterday's video, we made a small tournament. We organized it with semi-final, final, and understanding who would have the most possibilities to become the new coach of Juventus 23-24. I will not spoil it. If you want to, go back to the video and you will watch it and you will understand and you will tell me if yes or no you agreed. But it was a game because all the names reported came from journalists that are reporting the names with percentages on all the papers. We have only one certainty, that Max Allegri has a contract until 2025. And that's certain at the moment. Then the future of Max, we don't know yet. Look, we'll speak about him because Juventus is going towards the right direction. Something that I always supported. Regardless of any coach, I support what they are able to do or what they are planning to do on the 5th of June or at least the week of the 5th of June. Tuttosport is sending a big message, my friends. Allegri, cambi o vai. Max Allegri. Or you change or you leave. As simple as that. Why? Because in that meeting they will ask the three magical questions, the one that I always tell you. First, do you believe in it and do you want it? That's important. That's one question. Second, can you do it? Are you able to do it? 3, convince us that you are able to put in practice the plan that we designed together for the next season. And that's an important one because it's not just words, it's really convincing, being sure about it. The 3 questions. They will not start with these questions. First of all, in that meeting that they will do next week, they will assess the Allegri 2.0. Mainly focusing on the season 22-23, but also considering 21-22. The first spell of Allegri will not be considered. Ragazzi, the past is the past. We were kind also in understanding that he was a winning coach, and that's also why he came back, but that's over. We forget about it. These trophies are in the museum forever, but now we have to think about the future. So what will they assess? First of all, the positive things. What were the positive? Because you like it or you don't like it, we will never know what would have happened if we changed coach in the middle of the season. Could have been much better, but we don't know, but could have been much worse. Entering a new coach, maybe a Montero promotion, maybe a Tuchel, we don't know what would have happened in a really difficult earthquake situation with the board resigning, without management, with the players asking themselves about their future, not all of them giving 100%, you never know. And this is something that will be credited and put in the positive things of Max Allegri, being able to manage in front of the camera but also in the locker room as long as he could an earthquake situation, making sure that the ship was not sinking, and that's positive. But also the negative points will be assessed, and we know it, the pre-earthquake disaster we are speaking about before the World Cup, elimination in Champions League. We were not speaking about -15, +15, the board resigning. Elimination, 5 losses in 6 games. Disaster. The disaster start also in Serie A, but also especially the result that didn't arrive. And we know it. Max Allegri has always put his fundamental on resulting coach, a coach that is going for result. Well, in 2 years, if you have no result without trophies, something didn't work. And also the game plan. We never saw a real game, an evolution of a game, a DNA, an identity. On the field also, what is Juventus? So these kind of things will be assessed. And then they will propose him the plan. What is the plan, ragazzi? The plan is that it's a different one than when he signed back with Agnelli. We will never know in detail what was the plan, but we can easily, if we are thinking logically, think that the plan was a 4-year plan with difficulties in the beginning, but also then a continuous increase of investment to go back in the 3-4 years to being able to compete in Europe and winning the Scudetto. Well, that plan has changed because the promises of experience, big names and so on will not be there anymore. What is the new plan? Well, A, we continue to win. That's what Juventus is. We want to compete and to try to win immediately from season 23-24. We don't wait too long before having that mentality of we win. So we go and we try to win. Is it a promise? No. But the intentions are there. One, but in a different way with other methods. What are the methods? Well, low cost, continuing to reduce cost, low cost project. How? With youth. More involvement of the youth that we already started with big messages of the next gen and so on, some meetings there, some press conferences. We all saw it. We continue to invest in the youth, but also in uprising players. The players that will come from the Mercato are not affirmed players, but uprising players, players that need still to show something on the field. No experienced champions anymore, like Di Maria, for example, that unfortunately, he has less future than past. The past is much bigger. The name is fantastic. Maybe free agent, but big salary and probably not enough able to show on the field for a consecutive season of 54 games. These names, these big names, you have to forget about it. So forget about Mané, for example, and all the other ones that you are reading on the papers. So loss of big players as well. The one that we have, Rabiot, that we know it how much Max Allegri was believing it, but also Dusan Vlahovic, and we will speak about him, that could possibly be sacrificed, low cost, paying attention to the cost, sustainable project, but also not being able to replace him as we want to or as we dream about. Forget about Harry Kane, for example. This is absolutely not a possibility. And then, of course, speaking about the fact that Juventus also on the field wants some evolutions with new ideas, with a game plan that we didn't see, that DNA on the field, dynamism and intensity. I am sure that Max or a new coach, the words that Juventus wants to show with facts to their supporters, to us, tifosi, are intensity and dynamism, that we are running with and without the ball from the first until the end of the game, from the first game until the last game of the season. That's what Juventus wants, a coach able to give some intensity. And that's where we go with the questions to Max. Do you believe in it, what we are proposing you? Can you do what we are showing you? And if it's a yes, convinced us about how. Because the last word that you said in press conference could even be correct and honest, but you said two things that doesn't show us at the moment that you really believe and that you can do it. Because you said that the team that will have birthed the new Juventus, not sure if it's able immediately to compete, to win immediately something. So maybe the expectations need to be lowered. Well, something that could potentially even be correct and truth. But is it a moment that you said it because of a loss, post-game interview, or something that you still believe in after that project that we are showing it? And then a lot of time, even if you showed that you also believed in youth, that you launched some youth, that you played some youth in important games, even when they were unknown, well, a lot of time you are also appointing the fact that a lot of young players need more experience, that sometimes they are doing also mistakes and that we have to accept it. Well, if the young players, if that youth, Italian core and not, are at the center of the project, we have to pay attention because no more excuses. And that's where Max Allegri will have to convince. Then, ragazzi, today, on the 1st of June, because it's a new month, I can't tell you if Max will say, yes, I believe, yes, I can do it, and it will be convincingly enough. That's a thing that I don't know. A lot of you, I'm sure, in the comments, you will say, no, it's not able. Look at the last 2 years. It's a coach that is outdated. I know what you will say. I understand what you will say. But then we are not in that meeting. We are not there. We don't know what will be the answers. From that moment on, I don't know if it's a meeting with Calvo or even with the ownership, John Elkann. From that moment on, they will continue. They will speak. Ragazzi, what will be said in that meeting will also be reported to the new sporting director. Will it be Giuntoli? Well, we have still to wait. First of all, the end of the season, 4th of June, after celebrating that Scudetto with Napoli. Giuntoli will cry. Let's see if Spalletti will free himself, because at the moment Aurelio De Laurentiis is freeing Spalletti because he's taking a sabbatical year. Will he free up Giuntoli? Because Giuntoli doesn't want to go with a sabbatical year. He wants to go to Juve. We have to wait. So we need still a bit of patience before going towards a certainty. If it's Giuntoli, this word will be reported to Giuntoli. If it's someone else, this word will be reported. And then we take a final decision. Ragazzi, we have to think about Mercato and we have to do it fast. And that's why yesterday Romeo Agresti was saying the situation of sporting director and coach will be decided at the deadline of the 15th of June. So guys, from now on, 15 days, 2 weeks max to wait before having a final decision about what will happen with the near destiny of Juve. One thing is sure, at the moment we can't speak too much about entry Mercato, but we already opened the exit Mercato, because that's something that we don't need a new sporting director for, because we are not selling yet players, but we are accepting offers and so on. And you have one name that is on all the pages and it's a reality, it's Dusan Vlahovic. I told you not to celebrate too much that all the trials were over, that we can start fresh clean, because yes, we start with 0 points, yes, we will not speak anymore about trials of the field and so on, but we will still pay the consequences of not being in Champions League. Image damage, of course. Sponsors damage, of course. Entry of stadium, of course. And then also the big money that we will lose of not qualifying to Champions League. That means when we are speaking about a low-cost project, about sustainable project, that we need to sacrifice 1, 2 or 3 players. Gazzetta dello Sport is saying only one will stay, with a picture of Szczesny, Dusan Vlahovic and Federico Chiesa. If you are going with a zoom between the 2 players, Szczesny is a player that in terms of value you will not sell him much, 10 million, 15 million, but it's a player that everything that you will receive in terms of money, it's profit, because we already paid him back, and it's a player that we didn't even sign for a lot of money. But what will you save a lot is the salary. Then you have a Federico Chiesa, where you will make some profit in selling him. Of course, the salary is still according in line with Juve, and then the big name is Dusan Vlahovic. I still believe that Federico Chiesa will be with us on the season 23-24. I am convinced about it. We waited for him for 1 long year because of the injury, or even actually 1 year and a half, 18 months. Now it's time that 23-24 is the season of Federico Chiesa. But I really believe that because we keep Federico Chiesa, Dusan Vlahovic will be sold. What are the pro and the contra? Well, he wants to leave, like Rabiot, because there is no Champions League competition. We are not even sure that we will play Europa League. It's a player that had a really difficult year, between growing pain, between not finding a technical agreement on the field with Max Allegri. Even if off the field they were having great relationship, on the field they didn't understand each other. Well, a really difficult year for him. Sometimes he was stubborn. He didn't see also that he was not paying back the expectation of Juve, the pressure, and so on and so on. He considered that maybe it's time for another journey, and Bayern Munich is on the player, together with other English teams like Chelsea, like Manchester United, and I will tell you even more, pay attention to Real Madrid, because Benzema will leave. So he's a player that has a lot of offers, big offers. We are speaking about 80 million, 90 millions. Juventus is seriously thinking about it, because you save a big salary of 7.5 million euro net for Dusan Vlahovic. Gross, it's 50 million that you are saving. That's one. 2, you receive a lot of money back, because your investment of 80 million is still not paid back, but at least you are not losing money and you're receiving, and you start fresh. The problem is, of course, who do you replace him for? Then on the technical part, we saw that Dusan Vlahovic probably at today, even if I believe he will become a world-class striker, a fantastic striker, but today he didn't show all his potential. Probably he disappointed a lot of us in the fact that he can't play with his back towards the goal. He can't. This is simply something he can't. He can't fight against pressure at the moment. It's not mature enough to take the pressure of Juve on his shoulders. So the small controls and so on has difficulty to show it on the field in season 22-23 with Juve. And that's why probably with the growing pain and this, Juventus knows that, okay, if the player is unhappy, if it's a big investment that we did and that is not paying back at the moment, maybe it's the best solution to sacrifice one player and then we go for Dusan Vlahovic. Ragazzi, I don't know. I would be really sad if Dusan Vlahovic leaves, but seriously sad, because I know that in 1 year, 2 years, we will say, hey, look, but he's a phenomenon. I'm sure about it. But sometimes we are paying the consequences of the off the field, and we can't even be strong enough saying, but Dusan, look, we change coach, we have new plans, you're still at the center of the project, we play Champions League, we don't need the money to compensate that loss of Champions League. Well, it will be a really disaster. Ragazzi, I still have a lot of things to say. I wanted to speak a bit about the Roma. I wanted to speak about Nonge, Kenan Yildiz, Huijsen, that will go with Juventus first team in the summer tour in USA. But I have no time anymore. So maybe I will do another video, or maybe, no, I'm sure we will do a live. This evening we will do a live, and I have a guest. So put a notification ring on, don't miss it, because we have still a lot of topics to talk about. Grazie for the likes, for subscribing to the channel, and most importantly, to keep here until the end, listening to me speaking about Juve. Grazie, forza, Juve.
Bianco che braccia in nero, cona che si alza davvero. Juve per sempre sarà Juve, storia